With a legend in AEW potentially retiring and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Touching on her debut for AEW, former WWE star CJ Perry told Fightful, "The time is now." Well, definitely subscribe to cjperry.com so you can get the full tea, all of it. I think it was a timing thing. This was always a discussion. Miro's been plotting this out for a really long time, talking about his hot and flexible wife for probably 2 years now and wanting to bring me in. It was just a timing thing. I had a lot of other things going on, a couple different projects. It was just figuring out the timing, and the timing was right. All of it was his idea. To be honest, all of it was his idea. I'm just hired talent right now. With the AEW Fight Forever video game not having much of a player base shortly after its release, this was said by Fightful regarding the company's push to reignite interest. Those that we've spoken to said that the game hasn't been much of a topic of conversation after the first month or so. But here was a heavy internal push to promote the game, especially at talent meetings immediately following the release. However, it doesn't appear that work is done on the game. Over the last few weeks, there have been scans done from new talent with plans to add them to the game. Recalling when he found out about Adam Copeland's WWE exit, Rey Mysterio told the MMA Hour that, "I was shocked because we had just spoken a week before that. We never had the time to even talk about what was next. I saw him in his last match, and yeah, we'll be in touch because we call each other every now and then." And next thing you know, I didn't even see it. It was on social media the following day, and they were like, "Did you see who popped up?" I was like, "No, what happened?" And they showed me. I was like, wow, I did not see that coming. But I imagine he has his reasons on why, and I can't wait to sit down and chop it up with him. At a WWE live event, Cody Rhodes decided to pay tribute to Otis in the ring by showing off his version of the Worm. Here's the video. Speaking of Cody Rhodes, a fan wrote to him on social media after seeing him at an event. The fan said, "Cody Rhodes kind of wished you hadn't ignored my wife after taking a picture with a pretty girl tonight. It made her feel terrible for the rest of the night. Not cool, dude. She was sitting right next to the kid you gave your belt tonight with the red hair." Cody replied, "Sorry, it's never on purpose. I just have to listen to the security time cues and try and get as many folks as I can. It gets a bit chaotic. Apologies." Given the success when it comes to ticket sales for Survivor Series, it was reported that House of Wrestling has learned that tickets are in such demand that WWE will not be offering comps to talent and staff working the event. The decision was made weeks ago, and one source told me it is very uncommon for shows to be put on the no comp list this far out. Furthermore, another source told me that since the live events boom, comps have been way scaled back. Giving his thoughts on the ratings battle that took place between NXT and AEW Dynamite last Tuesday, Booker T said on his Hall of Fame podcast, "NXT versus AEW, and I must say, NXT went out there and did the damn thing, man. They went out there and did the damn thing. 921,000 views, and AEW did 609,000. That's a vast difference, man. That's a huge difference. 300,000 people. People can say what they want to say. You know, the one person I've always tried to stay off of, I try not to dig at Tony Khan or anything like that, just because he's got to try to run a business, but at the same time, I got to take a dig at this last comment that he made about the NXT rating. He said it was the first time that John Cena and The Undertaker appeared in front of less than 1 million people for WWE, and the thing is, he's got Edge, he's got Christian over there, he's got all those guys, and they've never performed in front of 600,000 people. So it's like, when you say stuff like that, you might want to think about it before you say stuff like that, because Edge was was in the main event, Edge was in the main event of that show, and they drew 609K. The thing is, I'm sure Tony Khan thought that there was going to be a bigger number. I can't be positive on this, but I would imagine that Tony Khan would have imagined that AEW probably would have got a bigger number, and the thing is, I'm sure Tony Khan would have been gloating, basking in it, as far as, if the numbers would have been flipped. Just say, for instance, I'm sure Tony Khan it would have been a party. It would have been a celebration if they would have actually won. So it's just like, I don't know what Tony Khan's modus operandi is. I don't know what his fixation is on WWE. I just don't see the big picture. I don't mind trash talk. I don't mind the boys trash talking. When the boss is doing it, doesn't that feel a little childish to you? In doing that kind of internet stuff, it just doesn't seem like a boss to me. And I've said this before about Tony Khan as far as him being a boss, being a leader. That's what that company I think needs more than anything. And I've said that before, leadership. And Tony Khan going on social media tweeting, this is not leadership. Tony Khan was talking about Shawn Michaels not winning the Booker of the Year award. Personally, I'm hoping and praying that that's the last thing that Shawn Michaels will be thinking about was a year-end award. But on the other hand, I think Shawn Michaels is doing a hell of a job with the NXT brand, creating moments as well as magic at the same time and getting these young guys to the point to where they need to be more than anything, because NXT is still a developmental group and the object of that game down there is to get those guys promoted to the next level and hopefully get somebody else to take their spot. It's about creating talent, I think, in WWE, and I think that's what that brand is all about. When it comes to the plans regarding the Wargames match taking place at Survivor Series later this month, it was noted that Ringside News exclusively reported in August that Wargames is coming back this year. The plan is to hold a match at Survivor Series. The 2023 Survivor Series event is slated to go down at Allstate Arena in the Chicago suburb of Rosemont, Illinois on November 25th. Ringside News inquired about the current status for the upcoming Survivor Series double cage match. We were informed earlier this month that the company has already finalized the participants for this match, and there is no room for debate as the plan is now set. Sean Sapp confirmed on his Backstage Report podcast behind Fightful's paywall that WWE is planning another Wargames match at Survivor Series. No participants were noted in the match in that report, and no other information was provided. It's very likely that WWE will start promoting Wargames after their November 4th Crown Jewel event is over in Saudi Arabia. Right now, that event is the company's primary promotional focus. As of this writing, Ringside News have not received any word that there will be a female Wargames match this year. That could be in the plan as well, but we were only able to confirm that a men's match is happening in Chicago. Expressing his thoughts on a potential feud between former AEW champion Jade Cargill and his daughter Charlotte Flair, the Nature Boy Ric Flair told comicbook.com, "Anything she does is money. If I give you my thoughts on it, she'll get mad because she doesn't like me talking about it. But I mean, you heard the crowd. Sometimes it's meant to happen. I don't know whether Jade is going to spend some time at NXT or not. I'm not sure. As a father's standpoint, as a wrestling fan, Jade don't want nothing to do with the Queen." Talking about retirement during the media scrum following AEW's Forbidden Door, Sting said, "I have not decided on a date. For sure, a lot of people have wondered if I will retire in Wembley. That would be very cool, but I don't see that happening. I think I'm going to continue on." Sting is now set to address fans on Dynamite this week, as this has people thinking he will be stepping away from competition. They reacted online writing, "Is he retiring and having a last match with Darby at Full Gear? No reason why he can't keep popping into AEW every now and again, but I think at 64, he realizes it's time." If they were going to do that, and knowing Tony Khan's big old major announcement approach, you'd think they'd promote it as such. Him suggesting he's going to retire and the promotion is Sting addressed as his fans would feel like under promoting, to say the least. He's going to retire, but he'll probably have a retirement match at Full Gear. With plenty of rumors surrounding The Rock possibly coming back to wrestle for WWE, Sports Illustrated reported this about him being at WrestleMania next year. Considering this will be Endeavor's first time overseeing WWE's signature event, there is every reason to believe this year's will be bigger than ever. Short term, there is nothing that can compare to a return from Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But after speaking with multiple sources close to WWE, the decision about WrestleMania will not be The Rock's to make, nor is the main event even a topic of substance. There are currently no plans for this to happen. Even if it were offered, it would not be a certainty that Johnson would even accept. He has multiple obligations, and if he is part of a movie that is filming, he simply would not be able to take the risk of wrestling. It was added that Australian newspaper The West reported that The Rock is going to wrestle at the Elimination Chamber event in Australia. Ringside News was then the first to exclusively shut that report down because there are still no plans to book The Rock to wrestle. Ringside News exclusively reported that The Rock's desire to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 may be based on several reasons. That being said, the match is not happening, and WWE already has their WrestleMania main event locked in. Ringside News exclusively reported that The Rock was a virtual lock for WrestleMania 39. The Rock later admitted that he was supposed to wrestle Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39, but they put their pencils down when they couldn't come up with a good enough creative idea. The Rock also stated that he is open to the idea of facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 during his appearance on the Pat McAfee show. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.